Hello everyone, my name is Michael and welcome back to another episode in the Scrapy Tutorial Series. In this episode, we will see how we can use Scrapy Shell to make our debugging easier without having to run the spider. So yeah, with that said, let's get straight into it. Now, when web scraping with Scrapy, proxies are a must. Without them, websites can detect too many requests coming from the same IP address and they will block you. That's why using a good proxy provider like NodeMaven, which is the sponsor of this video, is key, and they offer over 95% clean proxies, helping you avoid detection. Now, the only reason I recommend NodeMaven is because I use it for my own projects and for my client projects, and I only be using NodeMaven for months now, and that's why I partner with them. It's the only proxy provider I trust and I suggest for everyone. Plus, they let you choose between residential and mobile proxies and even specify details like your country for more precise scrapping. Start using reliable proxies by using the link down in the description, and when you go on your checkout, make sure you click apply coupon here and type Michael to get 2 extra gigabytes at checkout. Now, I'll be covering in a future episode how we can use proxies with Scrapy, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So what is the Scrapy Shell? Well, the Scrapy Shell is an interactive shell, like a terminal basically, where you can try and debug your scraping code very quickly without having to run the spider each time. As you'll see, it's meant to be used for testing data extraction code, but you can actually use it for testing any kind of code, as it is also a regular Python shell. And as you'll see, all we have to do is to launch the shell is saying Scrapy Shell and then the URL. So let's go ahead and do that. As you'll see, we will again use the URL we are already using to scrape the quotes. So let's say Scrapy Shell and then URL, and there we go. So as you'll see, it fetches the request very quickly. And then if we go back on the documentation, first of all, as you will see, besides the URI, you can also provide your own HTML, which could be proven useful depending on your case, but we will skip that for now. The only difference is you just provide the path, the file name, the file path to your file, that's all. Okay, so let's scroll down. As you'll see, in order to get the help commands, you can just run help, like so. Now, as you'll see, you can also fetch a new URL. So all you have to do to fetch a new URL is say fetch, then the URL inside of it, like so. And as you'll see, if the URL has a redirection, you can redirect to true, you can enable redirection. And I think that's what happens by default. You can also disable it. Well, let's leave it as is for now. So as you'll see, it refetches and that's it. Now, you can also view the response. So let's do that. And what it does, as you'll see, it opens a local file in your browser of the response, which could be quite useful. And that's for the available shortcuts. Let's scroll down now. We can also launch the Scrapy Shell with no logs, if you don't want to get all the logs. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with the CSS testing. Actually, we'll use XPath for now. As you'll see, let's take this and we'll be using the response object, which we found right here. And as you'll see, we can pass the XPath just how we do it in our code right here. Now we use CSS here, but it's the same basically idea. Whatever you do here in your code, you can do directly on your terminal. And that way you can quickly test what this selector gives you. So let's copy this, and it should give us the page title. As you'll see, quotes to scrape. Perfect. Let's also scroll down now. And as you'll see, request doesn't only have a method to get, you can also post. For example, you can post a form. So let's scroll down. As you'll see, you can also print the headers. And also you can import other libraries directly on your terminal. So let's test this out. we will say from pprint import pprint. You'll see like so, and then we'll say pprint response.headers. As you'll see, we get it formatted, and we get all the headers we get from that response. Oh, now this is quite nice. As you'll see, we can also invoke the shell from spiders to inspect responses. So let's say we have a spider already created. Now at a certain step, I want to launch the shell at that step specifically, and then start testing. For example, we could say after we finish all the pages, then we want to see what happens. So what we can do is say inspect right here, underscore response, and then response and also self. So we have to do Scrapy here, dot shell dot inspect underscore response, like so. Exit from here. Okay, so let's run our script now. And there you go. So as you see, once it finished going from page to page, then it launched from that step the shell. And this is a great way, because when you code multiple steps in your script and then you want to debug from a certain step, you don't want to run your script every time in case it takes a long time to get to that step. You can run the shell from that step, so you don't have to repeat it each time, and then do your testing, which is very, very useful. Okay, so first of all, let's get the next button and see what we get. As you'll see, the next button can go to page 2. So our script is basically broken. So as you'll see, we invoked the shell to the second page, which is not what I wanted to do. I want it once it finishes. So let's put it here, I guess. Then invoke the shell. So let's exit again. Let's run our scraper again. And now, if we do this, so as you will see, we found an issue with our script. We are not going from page to page. So let's see why that happens. As you'll see, Scrapy Shell is very useful, because right now we are debugging why it doesn't go to the next page. Okay, so as you'll see, our logic is wrong, because we actually get nothing from disabled, because the next page isn't actually disabled. So as you'll see, the logic is wrong. We are saying if there is a next page and it's not disabled, then go to the next page. But actually, this is not what it does exactly. We should actually remove this probably and just rely on the next page. Let's comment this out as well. Let's exit our script actually. And rerun this again. And see what we get here. Okay, now we get nothing. Perfect. Uncomment this as well. And run this again. And we should be getting more than 10 quotes this time. Never mind, I forgot to save it. So let's do this. And there you go. As you'll see, using the Scrapy Shell, we were able to debug the issue on our code, which I didn't even know it existed. In the next episode, I'll be showcasing item pipeline. And yeah, with that said, see you in the next episode. Goodbye.